Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Gold, Guts, and Guns. My name's Tom Luongo. We're going to do a tutorial today on how to use Steam and Steemit.com because I've gotten some questions from some subscribers about this. So I'm going to go ahead and do this as a live stream, but this will be available on my channel going forward. Let me just do this to remind everybody that this is happening. So okay, so as this we get started here, I'm gonna get started with what I've prepared for this afternoon to give you some idea of what it is, what Steam's all about, and if you're not hip to it and not up on it, I'll clue you in. So Steam is a hey, why don't we do this? So Steam is a crypto-based social media network. It's a blockchain. It's a social media network with an interface very similar to Reddit's, but there's also other skins of Steam as it is also basically a database, so that it can be the Steam blockchain can be mined and presented in different ways. So there's a Twitter version of it. There's a bulletin board version of it. But it's all the same blockchain, and it all looks it's all the same information, just displayed in different ways. So what does that mean? That it's a blockchain-based social media platform. And that is basically everything that you post up on Steam gets encoded to the blockchain, date stamped, identified, and everything else, and all of those things, so that we have a physical trail of who said what, when, and how, and why. This does away with the need for any, this immediately gets rid of any potential plagiarism issues or anything along those lines. So content creators can be secure in knowing that they will be able to post stuff and get the full credit for it. Now, moreover, it's also a social media platform. So if you like something, you can give it an upvote. And if you really like it and want to share it with the people who, follow you, then you can re-steam it, which is just as similar as retweeting something on Twitter. So, but the difference is that your votes are actually worth money. Well, they're worth cryptocurrency tokens, and I'm going to explain how and why that works, and then so you can go forward and get an idea of how this works. But the first thing you need to do is to go over to Steemit.com and just make an account. Okay, and then from there, your account will get funded with some delegated Steam power for a little while in order for you to be able to materially affect the network. All right, so the content is rewarded directly by your users. So if I write a post that people like and they give it an upvote, and it'll get a payout after 7 days to me in the form of Steam power and Steam dollars, which I'll explain in a little bit. And then curators, the people who re-steam, are also rewarded to help build the community. So 75, and I'll go over that in just a second. So everything you do on the Steam blockchain is going to benefit somebody. Either you're upvoting somebody else's content is going to reward them for your positive feedback by you delegating some of your voting power to that post. Okay, and curators are going to get rewarded for ensuring that the audience of that post is as big as possible. And so they get a cut of, and they're incentivized to re-steam posts because they're going to get a cut of the reward payout. Now, how is that broken down? So let's go to the next slide. So within Steam, there are 3 tokens, effectively. There's Steam Power, Steam, and Steam Dollars, or SBDs. Let's start with Steam Power because it's really the most important. It's the heart of the entire system. So Steam Power is your shares in the network. If, for example, there are 1 million Steam Power, if you have 1,000 of that, then let's make it easy. If you have 10,000 of that, then you control 1% of the available Steam Power out there. And when the reward pool with each block is the blocks are confirmed by the witnesses, then there will be a reward pool that's of tokens that are sent out and to all the content that was upvoted, and your vote is based on the amount of Steam power you have. So the more Steam power you have, the more your votes are worth. Okay. Steam is the liquid tradable token that you can take to another exchange and convert for dollars or anything else. It can also be converted into Steam Power. And then Steam dollars are also a liquid token, but they were designed to give a constant feedback to the network, the people, of how much each of everything that it's worth, because it's supposed to be tied directly to, supposed to be worth about $1, right? So Steam is supposed to fluctuate on the open market. Steam dollars are supposed to be pegged to the dollar. Now, as I'm recording this, Steam dollars are worth about $14, so the system isn't quite working as intended, but it's never a bad thing. They'll be worth at least $1 is the way it's supposed to be thought of. So now, so the next thing to understand is, how do you earn? Well, the first thing you do is you post something. Okay, you post a blog or a video or a comment to somebody else's blog, or you reply to somebody else's comment, and all of that stuff can be upvoted by somebody else. So, for example, if I were to post an article, like one of my blog posts that I put up on my blog, or repost one of my articles that I write for Russia Insider, and I repost it over on Steam, if people on the network like it, they can upvote it. If they comment on it, and so they give me a little bit of a reward, and then if they comment on my article, man, I think you're full of shit, or hey, that was a great article, and for these reasons, and I think blah, 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 blah. And if I like the comment, I can go back and like the comment. Other people reading the comment can like the comment, and in that respect, that content is rewarded with no other prejudice than anybody else's. And it's paid out just like anything else. I've made 50 cents on an article I worked all afternoon for. I've made $10 on a comment that I didn't think very much of. It all depends on who sees your content, when, and how much Steam power they have, and how much of their voting power they delegate to that particular upvote. And then curators also get paid out when they re-steam someone else's work. And the payouts work like this. So for the reward pool, it's pretty straightforward. The author of whatever it is, the blog post, the comment, the reply, whatever, they get 75%. And then the rest of it is shared by all of the curators. And that's doled out on a pro rata basis based on the total amount of Steam power of all the people who re-steamed. So there are 3 ways to get your posts paid out. The first way is easy. You eschew getting paid. You just click the none button, and then you don't get paid. The other one is that you get paid all in Steam power. And in that respect, you're playing the long game, and that you want more value, you want more power within the network. And so you're going to designate that you want all of your rewards for this post to go directly to Steam power. And then the other way to get paid is to get paid half in Steam power and half in Steam dollars. And that provides you with some immediate liquidity, which you can convert immediately into Steam and then convert into Steam power, or you can take to an exchange and convert to something else. Dollars, Ethereum, Bitcoin, whatever you want. Okay. So Steam power, what is it? As I've kind of explained already, the more Steam power you have, the more powerful your votes are. So really, it just comes down to that. If as you accumulate Steam power over the course of interacting with people on the network, your votes will become more powerful. They'll go from being worth a penny to being worth 10 cents to being worth $1 to being worth $2 or whatever. Once you get up to a certain amount of Steam power, you will then get the ability to designate a percentage of your voting power to your vote. So you don't have to give a full power vote every time, because you only get 10 full power votes a day, and your voting power degrades over time and then refills at a rate. Steam power is also the amount of bandwidth that you can use on the network in order to post stuff. So Steam is a self-contained network in that what's hidden behind all of this other stuff is that the network does pay itself a small amount of the payouts off of every post in order to pay for the maintenance and bandwidth costs of the network. It's just not paid it's just not taxed at time of sale, right? When you get paid out, or you have to pay up front to post. They just take it up front and do away with the barrier to you posting or upvoting or anything else. They just take it behind the scenes, so that the whole system is actually self-sustaining. Because they skim a certain amount of Steam, which they then turn around and sell into the market to pay their vendors, right? Pay their bandwidth vendors, like GoDaddy or whoever their DNS server is, and got it. Okay. Steam power can be delegated to others. So if you have a lot of Steam power and you want to create a group, or you want to create an account that on Steam, and this is very common on Steam, is to create an account that curates manually or curates based on a certain subject. Then you can create an account where some people will delegate some of their power to that account, so that that one account then has more power with which to upvote certain people's posts that happen. Say they post in a particular thread or a particular with a particular hashtag or whatever. So Steam power can be delegated to help people along. It's also used to select what are called witnesses. And Steam is a different kind of blockchain than Bitcoin. And it's what's called a distributed proof of stake blockchain, or delegated proof of stake blockchain. Sorry, excuse me. And it's much more complicated, but the short version of it is short version of how this works is that there are a group of witnesses that effectively act as the board of directors of the Steam network. And the way those witnesses are selected is that people vote for the people who they believe should be on the board. And of course, the number of votes you have, just like in any kind of shareholder scenario in any kind of corporation, the more shares you have, the more votes the more votes you have. So, and the last thing about and so effectively the witnesses are the ones that decide on upgrades to the network, changes to the network, and to the protocols and whatnot. And they also confirm all the blocks, and they run the nodes that ensure that all the transactions have been verified. That's what the witnesses do. So they're really the caretakers of the entire network. And then the last thing about Steam power is that it's not convertible directly back into Steam dollars. All right, the Steam dollar is obtained through content creation payouts. It is a low supply yet liquid token, and it's directly convertible to Steam. And it's how you get paid if you want to be paid in liquid terms. Steam is obtained by converting Steam dollars. It's also obtained by what's called powering down, which I'll explain in a second. And it's also convertible to Steam power, which is called powering up. Okay, so the big thing about Steam power is that, which I didn't explain on the last slide. Again, Steam and Steam dollars can be exchanged immediately for anything at any time. But Steam power, once you convert Steam to Steam power, you can only get Steam power back out of the network by powering down. And that is paid back to you over a 13-week vesting period. So this is to keep the system from being gamed by individuals who have a lot of Steam power and they dump it all on the market, and the market can't adjust and the prices can't adjust and all of that stuff. It's a way of making sure that the system is not gamed. So notice that curators only get paid in Steam power, so they can build power within the network quickly, but they can only get their Steam power back off the network for curating and not adding to content. Though they provide a very important role in helping content get distributed, they are not content creators, and therefore they're not getting paid immediately. So they have to get paid out over a 13-week vesting period. So what happens is, so if you want to power down and say you've got 1,000 Steam power and you want to power down and collect say 200 of them, well, that's fine. You'll get 1/13 of 200 every week for 13 weeks, and that'll be deposited into your account as Steam, which you can then use as you need to. And then powering up is exactly the opposite. You take the liquid token Steam, turn it into Steam power, and then if you want to get it back, it's going to take 13 weeks to get that money back out of the system. Okay. So those are all the so that's the basic idea of how Steam works. So now let's look at the interface for a bit. So, for example, this is my page. Luongo, user Gold Goats and Guns. So this is my blog, right? So these are all the posts that I have either written or re-steamed. This is what everything's worth currently. Posts are paid out after 7 days, so they get 7 days to accrue rewards. You'll note that I have some things that I've re-steamed, like this one right there. Posts like this that are worth nearly $800. there's a lot of re-steamers on this. I'm not going to get paid very much here. Okay. And then, so that's that. And that's simply how that works. And then, and for example, this post was just paid out $3. I got $2.58, and the curators got 42 cents. Okay. And then the Steam Power and Steam Dollars are trading at a really weird ratio right now. And so they are analogous. It actually is analogous that way. So that's that. You can see the comments. These are all the comments that I've commented on other people's posts. You can see that those have accrued some rewards as well, right? You can upvote your own rewards. You can upvote your own posts if you want. If you want to game the system and do that, you go right ahead. And then, of course, there are the replies to anything that I've done. As a matter of fact, I'm going to reward that person right now with 100. I've read that post before. I forgot to upvote it. So you'll note that my upvotes are worth about 18 cents right now. You can see that I, generally speaking, I like to upvote just about anybody who gives me a halfway reasonably intelligent comment, because I want them to come back and comment on my work and be a part of my network. So it behooves me to do that. So I hold my votes back personally. I hold them back every day and give them to people who give me good feedback. So, all right. So now you can see this is what your wallet looks like, and Steam has a full wallet system. This is not just this is not being held. This is all being held on the blockchain. You don't hold the wallet locally, but you do have all your private keys, and they are held. The keys are held here under the permissions tab, which I'm not going to click on because that'll show like all of my keys and stuff. I ain't going to show you that. And then then something to change your password with. But so you can see that in my account right now, I have 720.876 Steam Power. I've got some Steam Dollars, and I've got some Steam. So I'm going to redeem that reward, which will then drop that money into Steam Power, because that was a curation reward. And you can also see all of your transaction history as you go back. It's all available. There are other skins on Steam as well. And so that's pretty much how Steam works. And over the course of time, so if you want to, for example, I want to take this money and I want to convert it into Steam, there is an internal market on Steam, which allows you to trade between Steam Dollars and Steam for no transaction fees, because it's a transaction fee network. So I can immediately convert those at this rate. There's the highest bid. This is a standard buy and sell order. So I can turn around and convert that 0.12 SPDs into 0.41 Steam. There you go. All right. And then it'll be added to my placed. It was filled. That's that. Okay. Let's see what else. So the only other thing is your feed, and the feed is going to be simply put all the people that you're following. It's going to be just like your Twitter feed or your Reddit feed. There you go. Then you find stuff you like, and you read it, and you comment on it. And if you comment, and if you like it, and upvote it, or re-steam it. But the important thing to understand about curation is this: it's not really very worthwhile until you have a significant amount of Steam power. So, all right. That's pretty much what I have for this afternoon. I just wanted to give you an idea of how Steam works. And for those of you who are subscribers who've asked me this question, this is why it's here. That's why I did this afternoon. So I hope you enjoyed this, and we'll talk again soon. You guys have a great afternoon, and keep your stick on the ice.